Hi, welcome everybody to
The kitchen.
the December cemetery committee meeting. Did you have notes printed out from last
I
meeting?
did. Where'd they end up? I sent them around. They should be around here somewhere. Where did they stop? Did you get your meeting agenda?
Probably in my email.
No, I just sent it, just this minute. I sent it around the room.
No, I didn't get anything.
Yeah,
Where did they go, Sue?
I don't know.
I gave them to you.
Oh, I put them in my book.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we're all
she
the
didn't
same,
share it with the
so-
rest of the group.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
I kept it.
Yeah, I said take one down and pass it around, because these are all the same.
Oh, okay. I just thought you said, here's the thing, so I took it.
Nope,
So now I'm doing it.
take one down, pass it around.
I didn't understand you.
All right.
So I'm only
Thank
supposed to
you.
take one of these?
This one, yep.
Perfect amount.
All right. So going over the old notes. Speaking about scouts, I have not gotten back in touch with Joey Hart or David Wade in Chappie as far as getting the scouts going on something in the springtime. Put that on the list for the next time. Let's see here. So I haven't had, excuse me, I haven't gotten any new news on the volunteers for property meetings and stuff, but I did get ahold of Joe Stanley, who found a cemetery on Stagecoach Road that has been missing, and I know I emailed everybody information about that. That was one of the Farnham brothers. So we'll be cleaning that up. Hopefully, it's very, very small. Maybe the size of this kitchen here. Overall, there's a couple of stones. Mr. Farnham and his wife, and then there's a whole bunch of field stones. So that's a good thing.
Are you gonna do a cleanup sometime in the spring?
Yeah, it's not going to be one of the big cleanups with like 6 people. I don't think 6 people can fit in there with all the trees that are in there now. But have you gotten over there yet?
Where?
Over on Stagecoach Road. Okay, it's a bunch of small pines and stuff like that. You know, it's something easily taken care of, but we just haven't gotten over there yet. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I know Tracy did update the cemetery committee website or webpage, whatever, a little bit. So thank you very much. And no word on that one just yet. All right, so any questions on the old business, the old meeting notes or anything like that?
Yep.
All right. Moving on. New business. So Remick Cemetery, under Suzanne's expert opinion on where we should clean up next. We went back to the Remick Cemetery, which has been a 5-year project, something like that. We did a lot of cleanup. Ken just won't let that place go, so he goes there like every other day, right? So, which is good. So,
Man.
yeah. So we did a big old cleanup. Marsha was there with her boyfriend doing a lot of stone work. We got bases set, and we do have the tree guys are coming back in March 7, to remove the remaining massive trees.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they got the tools, they got the know-how, and
That's awesome.
I'm sure they're insured. So that's going to be an expensive project. That's about $2,200. Have you made any headway with drumming up any kind of funding from other, like from Young Rose or anything?
No.
Okay. So we have a few.
When I tried to contact them, they basically just told me to talk to the individuals in the house right across the street
Okay.
for historical material, but I don't think they're approachable for that yet,
Okay.
for any financial run, but
Okay.
we might revisit that again.
Yeah, we still have a few more months,
Right.
four months till those trees have to come down. So, but regardless, even if we have to pay for the full ride there, we have a good sized budget right now, and that's something that needs to happen.
That's the most expensive of pretty much all the endeavors that we do.
Yeah, I think,
it's the most important.
Yeah, I think of all the expenses we've had over the last like 5 years, 4 or 5 years for the cemetery committee, that's like all of it added together. So So we did clean up on stones. Actually, the three of us came back one day and removed all the headstones off site. So they're out in the woods outside of the wall. And then I saw you came back. You removed all the footstones too, right?
Yeah, so all the footstones and all the headstones are off to the left in the back. They are on wooden bunks, and then we went ahead and we taped it off with yellow flags and everything.
Yeah. So it's out of the way for when the trees do come down. If something falls, it's just gonna hit the ground, or maybe one of the granite bases that's already.
All the granite bases are gonna have just a big pile of dirt on them, just to cover them up for now, and then when we get ready to put the stones up, we'll just...
Yeah. So with Suzanne saying, we need to finish.
Finish what we started.
Yeah. So the problem with the cemeteries in Acton, there's like 80 of them, and they all need work. Most of them need work, and it's just a few people and a little bit of time to get it all done. But it would be nice to see something completed.
Do we have to do anything to protect the stones that we moved, all those headstones? Should we put
They're in the most protected place, and there is trees in the way if one does, but all their limbing and everything is gonna be into the cemetery
It's far enough
itself.
away to where the trees that they take down won't be getting that way. So at least one of us will probably be on site too to make sure.
I
they
will
don't
be
screw
on
up.
site, that is correct.
So I might take that day off too. So that's good. So we're gonna, by this time next year, that thing should be done. As much as we can. We want to grow the grass and things like that, but it's gonna be awesome. Volunteer expense report. So I think I'm the only one that ever claims any kind of expenses like mileage and if I buy something. I did have one of the guys in town that helps out once in a while asked about getting reimbursed. I can't remember the process. I think he had.
Yeah, I'm sure there's just a form to fill out.
Yeah, so I remember I had to fill out some kind of form when, I think before the committee was a thing. I want to say he talked to somebody, and he's like, no, he has to be part of the committee to get reimbursed. And I don't know if that's a thing. So I did not look into it.
See, I don't think it matters if you're a board member, you just have to be part of the group.
Yeah.
So as long as he's a member,
Is he a member of the historical or the cemetery?
No.
no, and that's what I'm saying, I think he
Yeah.
has to be a
I think
member
he
of
has
it,
to,
other
yeah.
than that, you're just a volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
I'll look into that. I'll check in with Jen and
Yeah.
Kelly and stuff.
but, I mean, in a minute, we'll get to some other stuff that I'm gonna mention, like this fella I want to join, I'm gonna end up paying for his membership and have him fill out the paperwork so he's part of the group, cause he wants to
Okay.
help with something else, so.
Okay. So more to follow on the volunteer reimbursement there. New flag order. So I have less than a box of flags. It's 144 flags per box. Like 3 years ago, we bought like 4 boxes of flags. So that's a couple of years worth of stuff. There's like 200 vets, I want to say, in town. So 2 boxes should be enough. But the way prices are and the way stock is, I want to order some stuff now. So by the time May rolls around, we have enough flags to replace them all. And everybody knows. I ordered flag holders like last June, new ones, and it took me till like last month to get them. So
Hopefully that's gonna get better here as things are getting caught up.
I hope so, but let's not.
But plan for it.
Yeah, so at least the flags, they have to be up by, Memorial Day, so. I'll look around, and see what kind of best price I can get for the flags. Do you guys have any flags still at home?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many roughly?
I have to guess 30 to 40.
Okay. So,
And we still have a ton of flag holders. We have those cheesy aluminum round ones, and I believe I've seen quite a few stars all over the garage.
Yeah. And I can still, like when you need something fixed or whatever, I got a bunch of materials that I bought to fix some of the existing holders.
okay, that's good. Let's see here. Help with Sanford Cemetery. So I know Ken and I were talking about some of the cemeteries in Sanford. It's not our town. Do they have they don't have a cemetery committee,
They
right?
do not.
No.
No, so code enforcement is the persons that you deal with when it comes to their cemeteries, but then they have their private cemeteries like Oakdale
Yeah.
and some of those others that have their own.
Yeah, I know they have a lot of smaller cemeteries that are on somebody's property, or like the Rotary.
There's
and
one on River Street's a good sized one.
Yeah,
That's an
yeah.
old one.
Yeah, with the stone wall.
So it
yeah.
wouldn't be the Parks and Rec that handles that?
I
Not
don't
in
think so,
Sanford.
not in Sanford.
No, code enforcement.
So who,
Enforcement.
Code enforcement.
who reflags them? Is it like the DFW or?
When it comes to that, I'm not sure, but if it was, it would be the city workers themselves down at but I know when I had to do a complaint about the cemetery up near the Rotary when they were doing that medical building there, code enforcement
Yeah.
is the one that you.
Our interest in Sanford is, we got more than enough for a lifetime to work here in Acton, but we like to help others. You know, Sanford's a big city, it's a city, right?
Yeah,
It is a city.
It is a city.
so to speak.
But yeah, and there's, we need to spread the word, we've helped out in Parsonsfield and, in other towns and stuff like that, and people come down to help us down here. So if we can, maybe help them with a smaller cemetery and, take care of some of the stuff that looks like junk. And in town, you guys know Elias Thomas?
Yes,
He runs the
Key Realty.
Key Realty right at the foot of Mousom. He's highly involved with the Rotary, and I've talked to him in the past about doing work in conjunction with them to clean up a cemetery or work in a cemetery, do something. So I know, like I said, we have more than enough work here, but it's good to pawn some, to help, our neighbors out too. So maybe that could be a project, I'll let them take the lead, but we could say, yeah, we can come over one day and help you guys out, because we've got one of the Rotaries that still looks junky. There's some
So
growth
the
there.
problem with that, and that was something that they had brought up when they were gonna do work, is whoever did the cleanup of that cemetery was allowed to cut all of the trees, but they didn't have the right, or there was some rule that stated that they couldn't grind the stumps. So what's happening is they're scrubbing back up, inside and just on the outside edge of that.
Yes.
So, I mean, if it's a law, then there's nothing we can do, or if it was just, there was a liability issue, so the company that cut the trees didn't want to be bothered to grind the stumps, but grinding those stumps will definitely solve those scrubbing issues.
So
find out, 'cause I
you
can-
need an answer
Yeah,
to that question?
yeah,
Well,
That
I'll
would-
reach out to the Mocha group and
'Cause-
I'll ask
yeah,
them.
because
You
I
know,
can go
we
down
could
there
do it.
with mine and
Okay.
grind
Yeah.
them right out.
So you
And they're
want,
not big, I mean, those
Okay.
trees aren't really big that I'm
Yeah.
seeing, I go by it twice a day, so I see.
Yeah, and the smaller the stump, the faster they grind.
Yeah.
So there's another cemetery, I can't remember the name of it. It's on the old airport road. And when Mark Patterson started adding to that storage facility right there at the Sanford Airport Mall, there was an agreement that they would clean up that cemetery once they finished putting those additional storage units. It hasn't been touched yet.
Well,
So that's something that I personally would like to see.
Yeah.
It's in decent shape, but you can tell the
I
the stones are starting to lean fore and aft. But other than that, it just looks like it needs some cutting and cleaning
Yeah.
and wet and forget.
I know a couple of cemeteries near there. There's like a security technology company on that side street that goes off to that. And then there's one behind. It's a yellow building, sort of goes back from the road before you get to that side street. And there's one back there. It's actually kind of a good size, like 3 times the size of this place. There's these little off the wall ones that just need some attention, because before you know it, they're just gonna get
Yeah,
nasty.
I know there's one on School Street we go by that looks awful.
Which
Most
one?
of the stone on School Street just
I
before Route
watched,
4.
I look at that one a lot.
It's
But
pathetic.
you wanna see a real beautiful one?
On the other
Before you,
side?
on the left side?
Yes,
oh
in the woods.
my
Yeah,
Wow.
we also admire that one.
Wow.
Love to
Do
take-
I
Did you
admire
ever
that?
get out of
Yep.
the, did you
Okay.
ever get out of the vehicle and go up there?
No.
No, you need to. These stones are so tall and they're still sprayed
Oh.
in.
Wow.
Inside there is.
And they're just covered in trees, so it's a wonder that the trees haven't.
It's
Yeah,
not because
those-
someone knows what they're doing,
Those
taking
granite
care of them.
walls that they have surrounded.
Yeah, they're just
See that?
perfect.
I know the one you're saying now. Okay.
That's beautiful.
But yeah,
You should take a field trip.
I'd be. I would be
Everyone
interested
drop
in
down
helping.
at top 5 cemeteries in the
Yeah.
surrounding area and
Well,
we'll go on a
that's
field trip.
kind of a good fundraiser. Come on a cemetery field trip.
There you go. It's a good idea.
But yeah, I mean, one thing of us, you know, maybe taking a slight interest in Sanford or Parsonsfield or Newfield, whatever, is find somebody in that town that maybe we can,
Yeah, energetic that can
yeah,
come
give them the
on.
virus,
Yeah.
give them the bug,
Yeah.
and have them take off, so.
I had an idea also, since you do a lot of recruiting for college and stuff, right? What if we talk to, like in Sanford, like the high school and the junior high and stuff, and talk with like the civics teacher? And try to introduce like us coming in and, because this is civic duty, and then, you know, something kind of getting the kids involved.
And the high school kids have to do, what, 20 hours a year or 20 hours over their high school,
I think over the high school.
so they have to do, yeah, community service.
I mean, if we introduce this, you know,
I didn't
that
know that
way.
either. No, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. At least then they know it exists. I didn't know this existed until we stumbled upon it. Because I would have been into it years ago to try to help.
Yeah, yeah,
And I would have been farther along and more educated than I am now.
we'll get you there.
Well, I'm getting better, but
Yeah,
it's
if I
a
hadn't
lot.
read, if I hadn't read that article about Ron on Back Road, finding the cemetery, finding that headstone, for the road.
And I'm, you know, and as far as like vets, I am sure there are a lot of vets out there that would be, you know, that would step up and help if they knew.
Well, I got involved because of Driscoll talking about a good job you were doing in
Yeah.
the cemeteries, and
Yeah,
that's how I contacted you.
Yeah, Jim Driltz was talking all the great stuff about me on Facebook, and I met the guy like 6 months ago. So he was
You have to meet them.
Yeah. So so let's continue to baby step towards Sanford a
Yep.
little bit, and just, you know, maybe they'll eventually have something like this too. So Suzanne and I both we're looking at headstone replacements. Well, you know, getting new stones put up because we have a lot of temporary markers. I was up at Highland Grove Cemetery up in North Shapley the other day taking some pictures, and there's a lot in there, and a lot of them are just, you can't read them anymore. And there's like this plastic one with, you know, the names imprinted on it. It's broken, and luckily someone had taken a picture beforehand, and I know who it is, but you can't read it now. That was just less than 10 years. So, you talked to the guy who's on Main Street in Sanford.
Yeah.
You got a quote for $400. It's like 1 foot by 2 feet.
Yeah.
So that's Forrest Manzura.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to pass this around, so this is the guy.
Yeah,
He's on 120.
we sandblast them and all that. I tried to
Yeah.
get Tracy to do that, but she wouldn't do it for us.
What?
Sandblast the stone so that we could make
I
our
don't have a
home.
sandblaster.
We would get one at that point.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I just need
She
a
used to
tool.
be a professional sandblaster.
So is
Really?
this 24 by 12 inch the smallest they go?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this guy over here that I'm passing this thing around, he's in Barrington on 125, so 30, 40 minutes from here. It's a fairly new company. He's only been around for a few years. He charges $449. The engraving is included for that 1 foot by 2 foot. We can add more stuff on there. There's, you know, a cross or a rose or whatever it is, but we're not going to get for these temporary
Wicked
ones.
easy to do it. So I'm saying it's wicked easy.
Yeah. He charges $449, and we would have to install them. He charges
Yep.
like $150 to install them.
Yeah.
But we're like,
You guys
seen
are
all that.
professionals.
Yeah.
so-
yeah. He was saying though, I met him like a couple of weeks ago. He's saying they get their granite from a big company up in Montpelier and Barry, Rock of Ages. So those guys up. Yeah, it's a thing. Those guys they've been supplying granite for headstones for like almost 200 years,
Yeah.
or 150 years, whatever it is. It's crazy. It's a massive joint. But yeah, he said their prices are going up 18% in the new year. So I said we probably,
Everything's going up.
yeah. So I said, we probably have 20 temporary markers that we would like to replace. We don't have the funding to pay for 20 stones, but he's like, if you guys wanna like pre-order some of those stones at, today's price, and then just leave them on the side, hey, now we got $500 to get a new stone. We already have it pre-bought, so we can get it at the lower price before it goes up. I
Is
didn't
there a
do the math.
discount for buying in bulk?
What's that?
Is there a discount for buying in
Yeah,
bulk?
yeah, so if we did, I could check in with him, say if we got 5 stones or 10 stones or whatever it is, how much would that cost be?
So realistically, the pricing is in the facing of the stone, because the granite realistically is only 20 inches long by maybe a foot deep, and it's only 2 inches or so or less thick. So they're not even really big stones. They're just,
Well, Forrest quoted me 400 just for the stone.
Yep.
No,
Right,
Well,
I
but
didn't
yeah,
have the
they
same
cut
with
they
that.
cut them all, and then they
this one's
polish the face of the
449 all
stone.
included.
But
Oh, I thought it was.
that's really
I
where the
thought that
money
was just
comes
the
in, is the
stone and
polishing.
then everything else was additional.
No, it was 449
So the
for writing.
449 is for an
With-
unlimited lettering.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So like with Mary Grant's mom, she's got 4 names in there, and I wanted to put like Mother of Mary Grant, something like that.
So I've worked with Forrest before when he's been doing. That's why I know so much about the headstones and stuff, because I used to hang out with him when he would do all that stuff. So
Yeah. So I can,
that's interesting.
I don't know how many, specific temporary ones we have, but if we want to come up with, I can say, hey, can you give us a price for 5 of them? Can you give us a price for 10 of them? And we can come back to that and say yes, no, otherwise. And I don't know what 18% on 449 equals out. If we just do onesies at a time, that's the way it goes. So, yeah.
Suzanne, stop bouncing your feet.
I'm not bouncing.
I'm teasing you.
All right, I finally got the budget from May out to everybody that I've been promising for a while. I did talk to Kelly. She sent me the current year's balance. So we got $3,000 from the town last year, and we've only spent like less than $300. But I sent her this and said, do you have one that includes the trust funds for the 6 cemeteries here, and then what the overall amount that we have. So as of May, we had $9,100 in there for us to spend, and then there was 10 grand in the cemetery trust funds, which $9,100 we can spend on the cemetery.
Yeah, so I think if we plan it out right, we need some of that to go to tree fund removal. That's a necessity right now. And then we could look at the best option of possibly getting the stones or something to get some and get that moving. Because we've got that first place, which is the I forget the name of the cemetery where they first asked us to look at replacing the stones, the ones that are deteriorating, the plastic ones.
Yeah.
Where's that? That's at the preserve. Where
Young.
what is it?
Actually, Young.
The preserve. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's the Young. Yeah, it's the Young. That's what it was.
The one up on the hill.
And we can at least conclude
Yeah.
something, so we've done something that somebody's asked us. So.
Yeah, that Mike Young guy. Actually, yeah, so the Young Cemetery, when that guy said that stone was down, so that one was huge, we couldn't move that. The other stone, though, that you had taken down, the slate one, was it? There was another stone inside of the way.
Yeah.
Did you put that one back up? No. Okay. So, but yeah, that one, the Young Cemetery is really nice. Someone had come in and taken down that tree that was kind of dead. It might have been Robin Ham or one of the guys up there. Yeah, I would like to, there's that one stone that's right near the road that fell over. Mary Grant's grandparents, I think it was, their stone.
That was what it was. It was the grandmother was the one that comes to mind that needs a headstone.
Yeah, so
And
that's
she's got no marker.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't realize that the Young Cemetery had some money, so we might be able to use some money from there. And then Richard Neal had talked about the Mary Grant Preserve.
And that's the word I was looking for, the Mary Grant Preserve, because that had all been talked about. Thank you.
Let's see here. So I did not get this sheet right here with the current numbers from Kelly just yet. I said, you know, if you get it for tonight, by today, that's cool. If not, you know, we still have some time to work on that. I can't remember, because Lois always did the budgets every year for us, and we never really asked for any more money than the $3,000. I know that's coming up in January or February or something,
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
So I know Jim had voiced a lot of interest in putting that together, the proposal or whatever it is, and then, you know, presenting it to the town or the selectmen, or how that works.
Okay.
So,
Do you have any copies of the letter the past letters that Lois sent to them?
possible, if
Just
not,
so you
if I
have
don't-
something to go by?
yeah, if I don't have anything in my old archives or whatever, I'll reach out to her. She might still have something, so we'll figure out how much we need to ask for, or would like to ask for.
There should be a copy of that here in the town, right?
Yeah, that's true. So, does
You
anybody,
have to present it for selectmen to approve, so it should be a copy here.
Yeah, and I'm willing to help present or do whatever once we get a game plan down. I don't like public
Yeah.
speaking.
Well, is it really a big to-do? I mean, do they
Probably not.
just
So.
we've never had an
read
issue.
it and then
Yeah,
move on, and then it comes up on the ballot at voting time?
Yeah.
so we'll dig a little bit more into that, figure out what we gotta do. Sanborn Nason tree removal. All right, Sanborn Nason on Garvin Road is another cemetery we've been working on for a long time. When I first saw it, Richard Neal brought me over there 5-6 years ago, and you couldn't see it from the street because of all it's like Remick, it just had all this crap growing up. Done a massive amount of work. Wayne Michaud came in last month, what it was.
He's a beast.
Oh my
He
God.
is. He's
Him
a
and his
monster.
dad did an awesome job.
Yeah, if you guys have
he is
not seen,
talented.
Yeah,
if you guys have not been by there recently, do a drive-by. Everything but this massive pine tree in the front is
Yeah.
gone. Everything's gone.
Yeah, that pine tree in the front's kind of close to
So-
the road and close to a couple of graves.
So, that leads me to my next thing. So we still do a lot of work at Sanborn Nason. There's other trees around the periphery, and the homeowner really, or the landowner doesn't really want us to take any more down, but some of them need to go down. So, but yeah, so leading into my last little new business thing is the CMP arborist. So CMP has a tree guy that works for them, and they're always taking trees down, whether they, preemptively or after the fact. So I was at the dump in Shapley last month sometime, talking to a guy over the free table. And he said he worked for CMP, or he had some CMP on his shirt or something.
Do you know his name?
Yeah, Joe,
Okay,
Joe or
because
John.
Travis Chapman also works for CMP and was an arborist, and he takes the trucks once in a while. And he'll go cut trees and stuff like that as needed.
Kevin LaFrance.
I've heard that name. I'll talk to Travis
Yeah.
about that.
So yeah, I guess he's a Shapley resident. So I said, hey,
Oh, that's
listen.
great.
Um,
Yeah,
What do you guys do about trees? Because I've always wanted to call them, see if they could take stuff down. So let that one. So I got the arborist name and number. We can get a hold of him, and what he does, he comes out, does a site survey. Is this tree gonna affect the power lines nearby? Checking with the property owner, the whole 9 yards. If they deem it necessary to take it down, they'll take it down, which will save cemeteries.
and that
save
makes
us.
sense because I've called CMP before when I wanted trees down because I felt unsafe, and they come and looked at him and Han, and we fought, and then they took him down.
So that's a key resource right there. I have not
That's
made any
great.
contact yet. Did you?
I did not reach out, but we will have to reach out because the Goodwin Cemetery
Yes.
has a lot of trees that need to come down. Actually, a big branch had come down and Lacey Hubbard's footstone was disturbed by it, but those trees need to come down, and CMP might have to go for that one ash tree in the front that's rotted all the way through. If it does fall forward, it will hit the electrical line across the street.
Yeah.
So that,
So it's gonna. It's about a win. So
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. He was there the other day after all the storms we
That
had last
wind
week.
is terrible.
Yeah. You had a truck full of down branches, right?
it was a big branch that fell off.
And actually, was it you or Wayne there was a birch tree in there last month as well that had come down?
I did that too,
You
yes. And Mr. Scott Mitchell help me
Okay.
load my truck up after.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of work to do, so we'll keep working on that. That's it for new business. Yes, sir.
So I have something to jump onto old business that I was waiting to put on this new business.
Okay, what you got?
So, in the old, we discussed LiDAR in the cost of a $7,000 equipment. When we were talking about that, I was thinking of the equipment that you run over the ground and so on. And our neighbor is gonna be going for his drone license in January. And I've been using him for the Acton Historical Committee to be able to film some of our stuff around. He wants to join. He can't do a lot, he had a heart attack, and he's got a bad back, but he can fly the drone, and that's what he's gonna be able to do. The cameras on it are satellite quality. So he can go 4,000 feet, but you're only allowed to go, I think it's like so many feet above sea level, which puts him in most of the area around here about 400 feet up. But he can zoom right into everything to a fine light. It's got GPS and everything built into it. So he wants to do all the graveyards, and by doing that we can get them all logged and get aerial views of everything. But where that took me was the next conversation with him was, can you add LiDAR to your drones? And he says absolutely. He's wanted to do that. He hasn't had the money because he's disabled because of his heart. So I told him in a year and a half or 2 years, my loan's freed up. I'm going to invest and purchase LiDAR. So I'm going to get LiDAR for the drones. So by doing that, we'll be able to go anywhere, and we'll be able to see what the imprints and indentations are for graves, because we'll be able to penetrate so far underground with it. So anyways, that's where I'm going with this. He wants to set up a business, and what I said, from that point, we can also hook up with all the other historical societies to use this for
Be
archaeology,
able to rent it out.
and be able to help the other committees that are possibly dealing with like we are, and try to start bringing us together through this connection, of cemetery committees and so forth. Anyways, but I'm gonna make that happen. So
That's nice. Yeah, we're starting to make some good connections and
yeah.
get stuff happening.
So I've got to get an application form for this for him, and I've got to get the historical society. We live right next to him, and I keep forgetting to give it to him so he can sign it.
Well,
Too many
how much is
drones.
one of those drones?
What?
How much are one of those drones?
Well, the drone to carry the LiDAR could be $3, $4, $5, $10,000 because they got to carry a payload to be able to do
Correct.
that.
That was
But he's already got them all. He's got 4 or 5, and he can lift up to a pound of water with one of his, which is 7.49 pounds. So he's actually done studies with it, lifting and so on. So, but yeah, so it's in his, he's got one that's huge and one that's small, and it's all got complete remote control, so he could tell it to go to a GPS coordinate, and it can travel up to one of them up to 30 miles. But you're not supposed to let it leave your site, so he's got to be with it legally. So he can send it to places, and then it just returns home to the mothership. He's got a little GPS pad that comes right home, but it's really neat because you're looking at the camera, seeing it fly, and that's what gave me, can you add LiDAR to this? And he's like, yeah. So, but I want to look at and see which is the best package for it, but I'm going to purchase that.
That's awesome. We're getting huge. This is awesome.
Yep, well that'll be a big thing. So, then I'm going to start looking for gold.
Yeah. Go find some silver over
Yeah.
Mills there. That's it for the new business and stuff. Next meeting, do you had said every other month?
I was saying to skip it until spring.
So I know we need to do at least do something for the budget. Got to figure that out.
That's gonna be
coming.
in a new year.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know. During the, sometimes we would skip a few months. Back
March.
back pre-COVID and stuff like that. Is that okay with you guys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we all.
No,
I
we
got her
could,
back on email, so she's back amongst the living there.
Took a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed help. Actually, her boss squared
My
her away
boss
and stuff like
did.
that. So, Yeah, so, yeah, we always keep in contact, via email and texting anyway,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think we need to meet all in person to do the budget.
so, March, how about we have like April? Mark.
April's
when-
fine, because that's
April.
when we're starting out with most
Yeah.
committees for stuff.
Yeah, and then, I mean, by then, the three guys will be done with Remick and we
Yeah,
can,
and none of us know what the weather's gonna be like. It could be nice in April, it may not be.
yeah, so,
We could get no snow.
Yeah, it might be a tropical winter.
Did you want me to talk about Thomas Mason Stone? Do you know the one?
go ahead.
Go ahead.
What's wrong with the stone?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
I had ordered some epoxy so that we can, all the stones that are broken so that we can epoxy them together. But I still have to buy the lime mortar to fill in the surface.
Yep.
I've taken Thomas Nason's stone off premise. It's over on 236 7th Street at my house.
Poor Thomas.
So I'm gonna start off with a D2 solution, clean with it.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna epoxy it, and then when I get my lime, I'm gonna go ahead and
Yep.
do the Therma X or whatever it is.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
'Cause
And then it'll be like almost like a model for what we're gonna do with the other ones. So I'll do I'm gonna videotape it, not only take photos, but I will videotape the whole
He's the one with
process.
the pins?
Huh?
Is he the one?
No,
He's
no,
the other one,
Thomas
when I
was
found
the one
it.
that was
Split in
broken
half.
in three,
Yeah.
yeah, right there and like that.
Okay.
So, it was the easiest one and the cracks were, the edges were still sharp, there wasn't
Yeah.
much
You
erosion,
didn't
so it's gonna be a
deteriorate,
better,
so-
it's gonna be a better, subject for me to do that, so.
Is
And
the
yet-
epoxy clear?
Is the epoxy clear? You won't see the epoxy.
No,
Cause
okay.
the epoxy goes in the middle and not
Yeah,
on
and then
the
he's gonna,
edges.
whatever the stone is,
Okay.
he's gonna lime wash or do something to fill in so you don't see cracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one I did, which is, the stone was horribly bent, unfortunately, but it had broken in the middle. Where's that cemetery on the back road? It's in the field.
Oh, yeah, the other good one.
There's a big, huge stone that's white and it's
Oh, yeah,
curved.
yeah.
Almost on
No,
the corner
so
with
I-
Hooper Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
I-
the husband, and he
Yeah.
had three wives.
Yeah, I repaired that years ago with my friend Tim, who used to work for the guy Forrest.
Yeah.
So Tim came to my house and we built some type of rack that the stone sat in. What we couldn't do was straighten out the stone. The only way to straighten the stone is to flip it in air and let it sit for years in order till it bends slowly back.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
calcium shells.
Yeah.
And that one was marble, I think.
That was the first time I ever did cemetery work. Ron called me up like a couple of months after that.
Yeah, and that's right, because it was Ron who asked Timmy, and Timmy
Yeah.
brought the stone to my house, and then we set it up, and
So
he
if-
did all
if you-
that.
If you guys haven't seen that cemetery, it's on Back Road in Shapley. So this guy, the stone's what, 6, 7 feet tall. It's huge. So this, I think he was a Revolutionary War vet. But he had three wives. But all the stones were set in this granite, freaking 12-foot
One
long.
big trough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
When I helped
Yeah.
Ron, I mean, he must have been 70 or something, and
Young fella back then.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So we were like crowbarring this. It actually broke in two or something. That base out, and it's, oh my god, I have no idea how much it weighed, but I crushed my finger one day. Yeah, so I mean, someone had money to put that kind of base in there.
Yeah, he,
Um,
that Goodwin
That
was, he
family.
was into the selectmen, he was heavy into the town, similar to our darling Huntress
Right.
Oh,
of
you-
the
that's what
Shapley Ghost Plains.
Yeah. But yeah, his so I know Ron, the guy, the Mr. Goodwin there, his stone was fixed, but his wives, they're just like piles of.
Yeah,
They never got
there was
fixed.
nothing that you
Yeah.
could do with those, they
They're
were
all just,
pretty.
yeah, which is too bad. What's that? So, yeah, so I know Ken's got some stuff here and he can start doing, fixing the stones and stuff like that.
You put in for reimbursement.
Not yet. Just
Um,
got here.
Save your receipts.
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, I know we usually have Marcia come on down from Scarborough and stuff like that, but you know, she's not always available and things like that, so it's good to have,
Well, it's good to have, and if we understand how to start doing this, then we can start building tooling and jigs and whatever you discover you need, and then supplies, and
Yep.
you have to start doing this, because that's the only way we're going to be able to do it efficiently due to costs.
yeah, the more we do, the better we're gonna get, and
Yep.
the more volunteers coming out and things like that, so. Yeah, so let's look up,
Oh, yes,
date for
April.
next, where's my calendar, I have no idea.
Usually in tools.
What's that?
Usually in tools.
Tools, April, your tool, April 4th is the first, first Tuesday. Does that sound good?
Well,
What?
we'll have to work around the Girl Scouts, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, by that time,
What's the
maybe
date
we can
again?
have it moved to the
April
society.
4th.
Have we tried that? It has to be here.
In a closet?
Right.
I don't.
Actually, I'll
I
bring
think we
that
should
up.
be
Why
able
don't
to
we
closet,
talk
it's a
about
kitchen.
that?
Yeah, so you want to let tentatively April 4th, I'll let Jen know.
Yeah.
So, April 4th, write that down too. Oops. April. All right, anything else? Good, bad, or otherwise?
That's it.
Good enough?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I know I'll probably continue doing a little bit of stuff around, you know, when I can trudge around through the snow or whatever comes around. Yeah, if you need help with anything, let me know. Oh, actually, so a side note, we're cleaning up a cemetery with a little church group in Parsonsfield, and there was a little 12-year-old boy who I exposed him to the great, wonderful world of this sort of stuff, and he's like, his mom's like, oh, Grandma already bought him some stuff online, and so
No,
he lives in
but
Livingston.
that's great. He can travel, and one of us can pick him up and bring him.
Yeah,
So-
so I'm spreading the wealth, and yeah, so they live in Leamington, which is, you know, not clear, not
That's
close to here.
awesome, because young kids don't go through what we went through for Memorial Day. They don't go to the cemeteries, they don't do the flowers, it's a forgotten art,
Yeah,
so.
so, and yeah, we did this for Veterans Day, because there was a cemetery with 2 vets up there. And he knew a lot of military stuff already, and I'm like, oh my God.
So he's into history, so it
Yeah.
just makes
Yeah.
sense
Oh,
that he
he's
just
just sucking
gravitate
it up.
towards this.
I gave him a little hacksaw, and he's cutting down little trees, and just, so, I wish I could have done this like when I was 12, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I was like happy.
We did the grave etchings, and that already had me hooked at that point. So.
Oh, cool. All right, anything else? All
If you
right.
go venturing, just give me a call.
Venturing.
To the cemeteries or whatever, a lot of times I might be home, I can help you.
Yeah.
You gotta pick up the phone, or answer your text.
No.
Just in time.
Good.
Yeah.
A little different, but hey.
I have to get out to that,
That all works.
Oh,